Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event. Fight fans worldwide, you've tuned into the #1 undisputed boxing podcast today. This is the Boxing Breakdown. Now, your heavy-handed, hard-hitting host, Mark Roxey.
What's up, what's up, what's up? It's great to be with you again today here on the Boxing Breakdown. What's going on? We got my boy Harold Hunt who's calling in right now, so I'm going to get on the call with him. So hang in there. Give me just 1 second. Yo, Harold, is that you? What's up, what's up, what's up? Harold Hunt, what's going on, brother?
Hey, man, how are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to be back on the Boxing Breakdown for sure.
Same here.
Yeah, man. It's been a while. We've been through it, haven't we, Harold?
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
You've been in the gym.
You've been in the gym, or I've been in the gym?
You've been in the gym with your fighters.
Yeah, well, actually, Harold, I was in the gym with the fighters, of course. Yep. And about 3 weeks ago, I actually was diagnosed with coronavirus. So, I got a visit from the vid, and I spent 16 days in quarantine, and it was brutal. It was really, really brutal.
I'm glad you're okay now, Mark.
Yeah, man. I'm glad I'm okay, too. And thank God my whole family, everybody got it. My wife got it, my son, my daughter, my mother. And thank God, none of them, got it to the extent that I did. But everybody is healthy and back rolling again. And so I'm just delighted to be here with you, man. And listen, we have so much to catch up on. I don't even know if we can do it in one cast, in a 30-minute cast. And I just want to welcome back all the fans and friends of the Boxing Breakdown. I'm glad to be with you wherever you're listening today. Just sit back, chill out, and enjoy the conversation. We are going to be chopping up a bunch of fights that took place over the course of this past weekend. And actually, we might even go a little further back because everybody on the Boxing Breakdown knows how much I love Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson, shout out from the BK. Love you, man. And congratulations on your win against Roy Jones Jr. And I would expect nothing less. And now I cannot wait until you get in the ring with Evander, the real deal Holyfield, because that's what's coming next. What do you think about that, Harold?
Well, it's going to happen. The world is asking for it because Tyson looked really good. For sure.
Yeah, he looked great, man. I mean, he looked fantastic. Fantastic. Kudos to him and kudos to Roy Jones. He looked great too. And on to the next. It'll be exciting when they finally announce the Evander Holyfield real deal against Mike Tyson, but it's coming. Boxing Breakdown fans, strap that belt on because it's coming, and I cannot wait. It's going to be fantastic for all of us who love boxing, and I know there's the purists out there and people who just feel that it takes away the limelight from the fighters who are up there now fighting, and I get that. But I love my Mike Tyson, and I love the old throwback fighters, and it's just a pleasure to be in their presence and get a chance to watch them do their work. And for one last time. So that's that, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay.
Yeah. So hey, did you get a chance to see the fights from December 13th on ESPN, Top Rank Incorporated, Bob Arum? Did you get a chance to see the fights?
Who was it?
Oh my gosh. Well, it was a stacked card. It was, it was at the Bubble at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. And, the fights were fantastic. There was Edgar Berlanga fought, Shakur Stevenson fought. They fought Toka Khan.
And Nakatani fought Felix Verdejo.
Yes, he did.
Which was the fight of the night.
Oh, man. It was incredible. Very suspenseful. Let's chop that fight up, man. I mean, Nakatani got dropped in the first round, I think, and he got dropped a couple of times in the fight. And
yes.
Felix Verdejo was just putting a beating on him, and it was quite a spectacle early on in the match, and then later on in the fight, do you recall what round that was where Felix Verdejo got stopped?
I think it was the 7th round, and Verdejo made the mistake of headhunting. That whole fight, he had this guy in front of him with the slender body, and he just would not go to the body for nothing. And when he wouldn't go to the body, he left himself open for some straight punches because he wasn't making him cover up at all the body. So it was a great fight, and he lost sight of what he needed to do, and Nakatani was like, I am not going to give this up.
He
didn't.
Harold, what a heart he's got, man. I mean, when you think about Nakatani and the heart that he's got, for him to get up off the canvas 2 times and pull himself together, not only pull himself together, stay in the fight, continue to press forward, continue to use the jab. He did, midway through the fight, start to throw in the 1-2s, straight 1-2s. I don't know if he heard the commentators on the side, talking about throwing the 1-2, but he certainly started to load up on the 1-2, and he was landing shot. And then, to make matters worse, Harold, Felix Verdejo started to slip the right hand, but he started to slip the right hand by being inside of the right hand, meaning slipping to Verdejo's right shoulder. And Nakatani found a home for the straight right hand right on the cheekbone. And no matter what he did, no matter what Felix Verdejo did from then on, he couldn't escape the right hand. And I just don't understand why his trainers didn't say, hey, just step off to the left. Don't let the right hand come in straight down on you like that. And that adjustment just wasn't made quick enough. Maybe they were thinking to do it, but it certainly didn't happen. And he paid the price for that in a fight where he was dominating.
Yes, and he kept running into that straight right hand, as you said, ducking right into it. And this guy was just really aggressive, and he refused to take a step back. I liked his body work. Nakatani went ahead and invested in the body. He did on a regular basis, no matter what his situation was. He was going to throw the jab and go to the body. And that brought Verdejo's arms down. Now, Nakatani has suffered another broken orbital bone.
No way.
The first one was done by Lopez, and Verdejo gave him the second one. Oh. He's off for another year.
Are you serious? I didn't hear that.
Yes.
I didn't hear that news. Yes. Thank you for sharing that with the fans of the Boxing Breakdown, man. I didn't know that. I know that they took him to, I saw them take him away in the ambulance, but I never got the report back that he actually suffered another orbital bone breakage.
Yes.
Oh, man. So that puts him out. And I was just thinking about what would be next for Nakatani, because, I mean, I would love to see him get back in the ring with Teofimo Lopez. I'd love to see him get another crack at Teofimo Lopez to see what he learned from the last bout. Because he gave Teofimo, a relatively difficult fight. I mean, Teofimo, is just the truth. So he was able to come out with a victory, but it was a very controversial victory from the standpoint that his handlers and some of the people at Top Rank, certainly expected more from Teofimo after that fight. They weren't really happy with his performance there. So I'd like to see Nakatani get another shot at fighting Teofimo, but I guess what you're telling me is that maybe that's not going to happen.
Over the bone, as you know, is about a year to heal.
Is he going to have surgery on that?
Not that I know of. I would think so. Mark, I would believe you would need surgery.
Yeah, man. I haven't heard anything.
Don't you need surgery for that?
Yeah, an orbital bone. Well, if it's fractured, is it broken? Is it fractured?
If the right orbital bone is broken.
Yo, man,
that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a complete year, but I'm not a doctor. No. I don't really know how long it's going to be, but I can tell you what, that's not good news.
But it was a heck of a fight. He showed heart, unbelievable.
Yeah, man, that was quite a barn burner, and to see Felix Verdejo go down like that, man, I was like, my mouth fell open, because I'm thinking, Felix Verdejo's got this fight won, man. You got this in the bag, and then to watch that adjustment that he made, and then watch how he just took over the fight. It was very, very impressive. Nakatani he's the real deal too.
The first knockdown was a jab, a power jab. It wasn't a right hand that was set up. It was just a straight right hand right on the button, and he went right down.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of the end.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Anyway, on that card, obviously Edgar Berlanga from Puerto Rico. Actually, Edgar Berlanga is from Brooklyn, New York. Shout out to BK, another outstanding fighter from Brooklyn, trained by Andre Rozier, and Andre Rozier is an amazing trainer out of the BK, and man, Edgar Berlanga is this guy. I think he just got to 16 knockouts, right? All within the first round. Was it 15 or 16?
16.
Yeah, man. Like, so he's got 16 knockouts, all coming in the first round. He's apparently tied some records, and he's looking to break some records coming up. This kid can punch, man. He's a solid puncher, and they're comparing him to the likes of a Mike Tyson. I think Bob Arum came out and said he hasn't seen someone punch as impressively as Edgar Berlanga. Not to quote Bob Arum directly, but it was something, I'm paraphrasing, and it was something to that effect, right? So, Edgar Berlanga is the real deal. He dropped that guy in the first round. He was peeling him like an onion, and I don't know who's in the division. He's just going to climb right up to the top. Sure. So you can look for some big things coming out of Edgar Berlanga.
I have to be your foil on Mr. Berlanga. I saw some serious tendencies that can be seriously exploited. And if he happens to get in there with someone who can punch, he'll be out himself.
Talk to me.
He was wild. He had no defense whatsoever. He took a couple straight right hands that he had no business standing in there to take.
Wow.
Now, when you're young like that, of course, you got that. He says, I'm a monster when he knocks people out. But when they put him in there with someone who knows how to counterpunch, who knows how to run you into something, who knows when you're coming in for the kill, how to blunt that, he'll get knocked out. And if you go back, fight fans, go back and look at that fight with the sound off, you'll see he gets hit several times. The guy just didn't have anything to move him with. But it was clean. It was too clean. He was throwing over the top, just wildly, just off balance. He's fallen in love with his power. And they've got to look at that. They've got to tighten him up. Because eventually he's going to have to step in there with someone. Now, the guy he fought was a sparring partner for Andre Ward. And as you know about sparring partners, if you do a good job, you stay through the whole camp. He did. He also sparred with Canelo. He stayed through the whole camp. He had never been hurt, and he had never been knocked down. So I'm not taking anything from Edgar. He just looked very vulnerable after he hurt the guy. He just was going he didn't pay attention. And as we both know, when you're coming in for the kill, you're open to catch a shot. So that's what I saw.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's a powerful, commentary on Edgar Berlanga, and I definitely can respect that. I mean, look, the WBA and the WBO both have Edgar Berlanga. The WBA has him ranked at number 6, and the WBO has him ranked at number 8. So he doesn't have that much time to fix all that. I mean, if he's that vulnerable, he better, I haven't really been able to get a good enough look from him because he's only given me one round. I don't have much to really go off of except this guy moving forward and just taking his opponents out in the first round of every fight.
Well, Mark, you're trained eye. You'll see what I saw in the first round.
I got to go back and look I'm going to go back and look at that and try to pay attention to those little details. I certainly wasn't watching. Honestly, I was just chilling out, watching the fights. And, I looked up, here he goes, bing, bing, bing. He goes out, he peels him a couple of times, cracks him over the top with an overhand right, turns over some hooks. And before you know it, the guy's on the floor. I'm like, whoa, okay, well, there he goes. Jumps up on the corner of the ring. I'm a monster. Yes, you are. Because, he didn't get touched. I mean, he's got no blemishes. I was very proud of him being Puerto Riqueño. I was very proud to see him, as a Boricua, throw that flag around his body and get up, and kiss it and then walk over to the podium for his after fight press conference. Yeah, it was really.
He was great.
It was great. It was a beautiful thing to watch, and hats off to Edgar Berlanga. I definitely think that, if you're listening, Edgar Berlanga, you better pay attention to my boy, Harold Hunt. You better get that defense on point because, you're in a division where there are guys like David Lemieux and David Benavidez and Callum Smith and Canelo Alvarez and, there's some monsters. There's some guys in that division, Daniel Jacobs, Billy Joe Saunders, he's got the belt. He's got the WBO belt, by the way. Caleb Plant's got the IBF. Callum Smith, Canelo, or on the launch pad for the WBA. And the WBC, by the way, is vacant, but David Benavidez is up there. David Lemieux is in 3 pole position. I love David Lemieux, man. He's another really, really outstanding fighter. But Gabriel Rosado from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania is ranked number 11 in the WBC. So, he's climbing up the rankings there, maybe for another title shot. It's very, very interesting right now, the landscape at super middleweight 168. So,
yes. So that was interesting. A fan favorite, Clay Collard, who made his bones on ESPN card, during the pandemic. He lost, but it was a great fight. I mean, he really gives his all. I mean, club fighter, exceptional.
right. Where's he from?
He lost. I mean, he's from, I can't say, but he was a MMA fighter. He did very well during the pandemic on ESPN, became a fan favorite.
Right.
He had a great opportunity again last night. The other night, and he lost, but it was a great fight.
Wow.
And when he goes down to the club level, people are going to love him. He's going to be a star at the club level just because of the way he fights. So that's really good.
So Harold, we've done a bunch of podcasts in the past, and you certainly remember the episode when we broke down the Danny Garcia Errol Spence fight. Remember that?
Very clearly.
Well, guess what, y'all? The fight happened. If you didn't know, I'm sure if you're listening to this podcast, you know that Danny Garcia versus Errol Spence happened in Dallas, and it was a relatively disappointing fight from the standpoint that I felt Danny Garcia his fundamentals going into the fight were not really intact. And there were some things that I saw in the fight that I felt, I should not be seeing from a fighter of his caliber and his level. And no disrespect at all, but because Danny Garcia is an amazing fighter, but I just really I was very disappointed that Errol Spence was landing the jab the way he was. I wonder if you saw that, Harold.
Well, I did see the jab coming, frequently. I did see that. And just from what I understand about boxing, a left-handed fighter fights someone with a good left hook. It's hard to get that hook in because that jab is coming all the time, stopping opportunities for that left hook to come across. But he did try to go to the body on Spence with that left hook. And he did touch him a couple times with that left hook. But he couldn't be consistent with it only because Spence's jab kept him away from getting a chance to throw that punch. Now, I was looking for Danny to come across with that right hand a little more. But he really relies on that left hook. And I think that could have been an issue. But that jab coming from Spence so consistently just kept throwing him off the rhythm. And I just feel like he didn't necessarily fight that southpaw stance too well that evening.
Yeah, I agree with you. I felt like Errol Spence had an angle on the jab. He had an angle on the jab. He had his chin tucked in there in the pocket, in the shoulder. And it was just real hard for any kind of hooks to even approach him. But even when they were jabbing with one another, what I noticed is like Danny would throw the jab and his left hand would come down below the guard. He didn't have a high left hand guard. And I felt like that was really that coupled with Errol just finding the right distance and really being, with his front foot right in the right position. He was just landing the jab to the point where everything else he was trying to do was he just had the advantage. And I'm not saying that the fight was all about the jab. I understand all the other intricacies of the fight, but what I'm saying is that I just felt like, being a counter puncher, fighting a guy like Errol Spence who really does like to come forward, and you are really a counter puncher. Errol Spence made the right adjustments, a couple of adjustments in the fight that just really took away what Danny Garcia was going to be able to do in the fight. And hats off, Danny Garcia didn't really get spanked in the fight. It's not like he got spanked hard, but I just really, for the Philly fans and for Garcia himself, I would have loved to see Danny be able to, ignite his career and really put himself, at the top of the division, and really where he belongs, So I was a little disappointed about that. And, with all due respect, hats off to Errol Spence for producing an amazing fight and really coming off a long layoff where, he was in a car accident and, it was really like step up, show and prove that you are the man you were before. You were the fighter you were before. And he came out and he did that. He really did. And he really demonstrated that he's ready to really get back into this thing in full swing. So hats off to Errol Spence, right?
Yes, absolutely. I was impressed with his stamina, coming off that situation. Garcia was definitely in shape, no doubt about that. But Spence made him a one-arm fighter. And the one arm he had, he didn't use it.
Right, exactly. Well, and again, the welterweight division is fired up too, man. There's a lot of interesting things happening in the welterweight division. And in terms of, who's in what position, the WBC's got Errol Spence he's got the belt. Manny Pacquiao is coming back into the picture. He's got the WBA belt. He's got Eugenio Ugas is there. Virgil Ortiz is there at the WBA level. The IBF has got Errol Spence. You've got Kudratio Abdulkahurov. I'm sorry, man, if I didn't get that right. I'm sure I didn't. But he's number 1. You got Sean Porter at number 2. And you got Sergey Lipinets at number 3 for the IBF. And then, of course, in the WBO, you've got Terrence Crawford. Sean Porter's up there, too, as number 1. Virgil Ortiz is number 2. And Mikey Garcia is number 3. And, I want to point a guy out that's actually down at number 7 in the WBO. He's number 10 in the IBF. I do not think he,
Let me guess who. But I know who you get ready to say. Go
he's
ahead,
number 12 at the WBC, and I'm talking about Philly's own Jaron Ennis.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So Jaron, y'all out there now, I'm telling you, Boxing Breakdown fans, you need to pay attention to this guy. Jaron Ennis is, he's the talk of Philadelphia. He's voted, at this point, probably the best fighter in Philly right now. I mean, arguably, of course, but he is talked about in that vernacular. And I think he's someone to watch. He's going to be climbing up pretty quickly, and it's going to be very, very impressive. What do you think about Jaron Ennis?
His nickname is Boot. His mother gave him that when he was a baby for whatever reason. I don't quite remember the story. But he is so versatile. I saw him one time YouTube, and I went back and watched his other fights. And he is so fundamentally sound and has so much power. It is it's very interesting. But you know what else he has, Mark? He has a good chin.
Oh yeah,
he has a good chin.
Oh yeah, he can fight. He's a Philly fighter. Philly fighters don't play, man. Philly, we know how to fight in Philly. Philly fighters are a special breed for sure. So, I'm just really looking forward to the noise this guy's going to make. Jaron Ennis, again, ranked number 12 in the WBC. He's ranked number 7 in the WBO. I'm pretty sure, as I said before, I know he's in the rankings. I don't know if it's the IBF, he's got number 10, Harold. He's ranked number 10 at the IBF. So, anybody could be calling him out pretty soon.
he will be avoided at least another year or so. He's going to have to force his way into a situation like Bud Crawford did, where Bud was he was a replacement for someone who dropped out. And he took that opportunity, and he is where he is today because he was to be avoided, Bud Crawford. And I see Booth in the same situation.
Yeah.
Where he's going to have to be a late replacement because he can sell tickets. Because they're going to avoid this guy.
Yeah, they're going to avoid him because he can fight too.
On Brian Custer, he's already said he feels he could be victorious over the top three, being Crawford, Spence, and Garcia. Now, speaking of Sean Porter, he is now the mandatory for the WBO and the mandatory for Errol. Spence. He wants the WBO title.
Right.
He wants to fight him first because he feels like if he could get that from him, he can have a bigger fight with Spence. He says the world has already seen him in Spence. The world needs to see him and Bud. So both sanctioning bodies had made him the mandatory. So in the months to come, we're going to see how that shakes out. But he's got to fight.
Wow.
They can't avoid the mandatory. It is what it is.
Right. It is what it is.
Supposedly, Crawford is going to jump ship and go to PBC.
Wow. Yeah. Well,
That's the scuttlebutt out there.
I know. I've been hearing the murmurs, and I've been hearing the talk amongst the power players in sport talking about that very issue. So I get it. I mean, I'm not in a position to really speculate too much any more than we already have because we really don't know what Crawford's going to do. But you gotta understand that this is a business, and certainly, I know the PBC is very, very interested in the Mr. Crawford. So, I don't really know how it's going to shake out, but it's definitely must-see TV. And it's certainly, we're all sitting on the edge of our seats waiting to hear what's going to happen with them. Mark,
I tell you, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was just gonna switch up on you for a second, but what were you gonna say?
The part I like, Mark, is the WBO is forcing a mandatory, regardless of what side of the street he's on. He's the mandatory for Crawford, meaning that the political stuff will be not an issue. We're mandating he is ranked in our organization, and he is the mandatory for your belt. Do whatever you have to do, but it has to happen because he is ranked as such. I like that. There's a power that can force that fight to happen because it's a mandatory. Before, if you didn't come to terms, you know how that goes. Maybe you can do it, the purse bid, whatever. But a mandatory, you can't avoid it.
Right.
And that's what I like. So I'm excited about that. He's going to fight one of them. And I'm perfectly happy with that.
So who do you think he's going to fight? Who do you think he's going to fight? Or who would you like to see him fight?
Crawford. Crawford needs to be in a situation we got somebody pressing him. Someone who is just going to say, you're going to have to stop me. You're going to have to stop me.
Right.
You're going to have to stop me.
Wow. Interesting commentary. Interesting. So you've given us a lot to think about there, Harold. And, I can't get my mind off of the absolute blowout again on Saturday night's ESPN Top Rank card where Mr. Shakur Stevenson faced Toka Khan Clary. Like, I just can't get that fight out of my head.
Really?
Did you get
Why
it?
so?
Well, did you get a chance to watch it?
Yes, I watched it.
So because, okay, so let me just set the table for you here. So I've been following Toka Khan Clary for many, many years, probably about 6 years. And I've become very, very impressed with him and with his skills and the way in which he trains and also presents himself in the ring. I've seen him in some really, really good scraps, and I've seen some skills on that guy that I've just really, really going into the fight, prior to the fight, I was thinking to myself, Toka Khan Clary has a chance at upsetting Shakur Stevenson. Now, I know that, it's probably like a 90-10, I think BoxRec had it at 90-10 for Stevenson. And so I'm looking at it going, wait a minute, is there something we don't know here? And I know Shakur Stevenson and his work, and I've watched him for years since he was a little kid. I brought up several fighters during the same time here in New Jersey, in the LBC here in New Jersey. Shout out USA Boxing, New Jersey, and all the great officials and trainers and fighters that come out of here. And Shakur Stevenson is one of them. He's from Newark, and I've watched him for years, but I wasn't prepared to watch him spank Toka Khan the way that he did.
Well, I saw Mr. Clary kind of give up. He knew he couldn't outspeed him, outthink him, outmaneuver him. He knew he couldn't stand in the pocket with him. He just was on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
Taking the punches.
Yeah, man, that's exactly right. And hats off to Shakur Stevenson. People see, I have a tendency not to listen to the rhetoric of, what people are saying about fighters. I like to really, really get deep down and look at them and study them and see what they're doing and study their previous fights and just to kind of get a real trainer's perspective on where this fighter is going to go. Right. So going into the fight, yeah, Shakur Stevenson, he's got, he's a southpaw, first of all. He's got a beautiful jab, got a beautiful straight right hand. He turns over his punches. He's got immaculate clean shots. He's got a great sense of distance and timing. And those elements, you just can't appreciate them until you watch him fight. And I think, one of the things I was thinking is like a lot of the fights that he's had prior to this one, with a couple of exceptions, the majority of the fights have been kind of one-sided fights where you just know that Shakur's got, more superior skills. But I thought that Toka Khan Clary was going to give Shakur Stevenson a much more of a, ask him the right questions. And he didn't. He didn't ask him the right questions. And Shakur had his way the entire fight. It went went the distance. And, Shakur just spanked him pretty darn good.
To me, he receded the fight first round. He got it pulled out of him the first round. He saw he just couldn't do anything with him. And he tried a couple of times, but he didn't sell out. Now, he got hurt in that last round because he wanted to step in the pocket. And that's when he got hurt. He avoided that the entire fight, but then he stepped in to see if something could happened, and he got hurt, and he stayed out. But Shakur couldn't knock him out if the guy is not necessarily going to engage with him.
Yeah.
He can only do so much. You got to have the guy in the pocket with you. And
he was
for whatever reason,
he was fighting off his back leg the whole time, Harold.
Yes, he was out of the pocket for safety's sake. And as a fan, I cannot throw Mr. Stevenson under the bus. I can't.
Right.
He had a opponent that was not willing. Kind of remind me of when Floyd used to fight people. They would say, "Okay, Floyd, I can't do nothing with you. Let's just go to distance. That's it. I'm not even going to try to win because I know I can't. I have nothing." And that type of thing is confirmed early, and that's exactly what happened here with the Stevenson fight.
Yeah. No, I know. It was an interesting fight, but I just couldn't get my head around it. I mean, now, like, where do you think Shakur is going to go next? Where's he going next?
Oh, he's going to fight the other champion.
Lomachenko?
No, the other champion, the WBO champion. His name is what is that your name?
Bechtel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's gonna.
Now that is the fight where now he'll be in a situation where his skills have to really show. And this is a chance for him to really step forward.
Wow.
Now, I want that fight. The motivation for that fight will be tremendous for him.
Right. Well, I mean, there's so many, talking about upcoming fights, there's so many great things gonna happen in the next couple of months, but one of the fights that the fans are, and we've done a boxing breakdown on this one too, Ryan Garcia against Luke Campbell is finally going to happen. So, yeah, it's happening. So what do you think about that fight? Do you have any thoughts about it or any, preconceived notions about how it's going to go?
Yes. He's lost 3 times. Campbell. Just looking at the footage, he kind of throws his punches a little wide. They're not necessarily straight down the pipe. He doesn't necessarily set things up. He's kind of got that European type of style. It's not the Mexican style where, you have the arc, but it's coming in at angles that are not necessarily straight. Ryan throws the straightest jab and right hand ever. And they'll be pinpointed right there. Now, this guy can take a punch. So it's going to be spectacular to see, those punches landed. Should be a lot of oohs and ahs because he's going to stand up and take these punches. But he'll be hit at will. I just don't see him really having a chance.
Right.
I just don't.
Yeah. No, I definitely think it's going to be a showcase fight for Ryan Garcia.
Hand speed. And he's got power. And he knows how to get away from you. He knows how to retreat. He knows how to tie you up. He has a little thing where he'll hit you off the break. It's legal. But he's so fast with it, he can hit you. And the referee is not going to call it because it is on the break. And he does this all the time. So that's an advantage. But the hand speed is just really blinding. It really is.
Right.
And as they say, speed equals power, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
He's got the speed for sure.
Well, he's
definitely got the speed.
Ryan Garcia's already, I think he's already thinking about, like Gervonta Davis for 2021. So Garcia, let's assume that, for all intent and purposes, that he's going to get through this next fight with Luke Campbell and come out with the W. And that's going to put him in a position where, he might fight Gervonta Davis. Who do you think wins from that fight?
Well, we have Floyd Mayweather and Oscar De La Hoya involved. And they are going to let this thing marinate until we go crazy. There's no way they're going to put him in 21. No way.
Right.
And I really don't see 22 either.
You don't think he's going to fight in 2021, 22?
Not Tank.
Wow.
He'll fight maybe Devin Haney. He's got to prove that he can do a pay-per-view. He's got to prove that he can do that. Now, of course, the following that he has on the social media is great. But he's got to do a pay-per-view and see that translate.
Wow, he's got the numbers. He's got the numbers.
Right, but we don't have any hard numbers. He hasn't done a pay-per-view fight as of yet.
Right.
We don't know. We don't have any hard numbers. Yes, on paper he got the whole world, all the people are paying attention to him, no doubt. But we still got to see the numbers. Tank has his pay-per-view numbers. If Ryan can have his pay-per-view numbers, then the thing makes sense.
Yeah. Well, listen, in the boxing schedule, the up-and-coming fights, obviously, December 18th, Gennady Golovkin is going to fight Shemratev on DAZN, right, at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida. And I think on the undercard, well, maybe it's a separate fight. It's actually not the same. It's not the same card, but Ramirez is fighting Lopez on Fight TV at a Galveston Island Convention Center. And then December 19th, Canelo Alvarez is facing Callum Smith on DAZN at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. January 2nd, Garcia is fighting Campbell, which is the much anticipated fight we were just talking about, at the American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. And then on January 30th, Povetkin versus White at the Skybox of London, UK. And, there's going to be, and then February 20th, we've got Mayweather versus Logan Paul. That's February 20th. Do you have anything you want to say about the Mayweather and the Logan Paul fight?
Okay, well, first I want to go back one. The Povetkin fight has been postponed due to COVID-19. He is not doing well.
Oh,
Povetkin and White.
Who got COVID?
Povetkin's not doing. Povetkin.
Oh,
He's
wow.
not doing well.
Really?
Yes.
Oh man.
So
sorry to hear that.
That's the situation with that.
So they postponed that fight then, the January 30th fight.
Yes. Yes. Oh. His life is not in danger. He just still has the symptoms.
Wow. Yeah, man. It's serious, bro.
Yeah. Now, as far as Floyd's concerned, we know the Tyson fight was a draw or what have you, and who won was the public opinion, of course. So that was basically it. You had, three non-judge people not decide, but just make their opinion. So therefore, there wasn't really a loser or winner. The winner was the charities that were able to, get the money. Snoop Dogg was a winner because he brought an element to the broadcast that a boxing sorely needs. He has a deal with Triller to do a boxing series due to his performance. And Tyson is going to move forward with this legend type thing. Now, Floyd's situation is completely different in that he sees that cachet that Mr. Paul has on the internet, and he wants to cash in on that. Now, we both know, you being a boxing trainer, it doesn't matter if that boy is 180 pounds. Floyd will knock him out whenever he gets ready. So it's easily he'll carry him and just go through all the motions, and then he'll go ahead and end it. I see Floyd making almost $1 billion on this fight after all is said and done, because he is definitely going to exploit the situation that Logan Paul has. No boxing skill whatsoever. He is so basic. There's nothing you can do to get him in a situation where he can be remotely competitive with Floyd.
Yeah. No, that
remotely.
yeah. No, Harold.
So Floyd is going to carry this whole thing himself.
Frightening. You know? I mean, just
So it's going to be a spectacle. But whoever's on the undercard, hopefully, they will put some quality fights on the undercard. So the regular boxing fans can be entertained, and the new boxing fans who are tuning in just to see Logan Paul can appreciate high-level fighting. So that is something I'm looking forward to.
yeah, man. Well, Harold,
it's a new platform.
yeah, man.
Also,
I listen. We're just about ready to say c'est la vie and say have a good night to everybody on the podcast, all of our fans and friends that were listening in today. Catch us on the next episode of the Boxing Breakdown. If you like the broadcast, please share it out with the boxing community, friends, family, and other. And, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're pretty much on all the social platforms, and you can also participate in the conversation at www.patreon.com/theboxingbreakdown. Get involved. Let's have some conversations outside of the podcast, ask you questions, and just make comments. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode of the Boxing Breakdown. And as always, Harold Hunt, it's always a pleasure to get on these amazing podcasts and just chop up what's going on in the boxing world. I thank you. I send my blessings to you and your family. And until next time, I'll catch you on the next episode of the Boxing Breakdown.
Good night.
Peace out.
Fight fans, join host Mark Roxey and special guests as they break down all aspects of the boxing world, including news, business, management, training, promotions, fan reactions, upcoming events, matchups, future boxing stars, title fights, state of the boxing world, and all the stuff you don't see when you watch boxing. This podcast is released each week on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Live streamed on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook Live. It's the Boxing Breakdown, hosted by Mark Roxey.